That's great coffee. Hello, my name's Robert Pembroke. I thought I'd tell you about the nature of the drug thalidomide in relation to the Faculty of Medicine, and more particularly the discipline of Paediatrics within the Faculty of Medicine, and how it kind of relates to the development of the experiment using the drug thalidomide as a method of research in paediatrics. Let me see now. Thalidomide, it's spelled this way, by the way, yeah? Thalidomide enters the market in 1953 as, let's see, a treatment for anxiety. The treatment was used on a broad demographic that included pregnant females. In fact, my mother, was treated with thalidomide when I was the fetus in her womb. So I am, technically speaking, a child of thalidomide. So the argument in favour of thalidomide, it's a rather interesting one that took place in relation to negligence claims in different courts around the world, often heard in closed circuit courts, yeah. To have paediatric research that encouraged the development of healthy babies, there had to be a sample of stillbirths for paediatric research so that the best way of treating a baby can be achieved. Research requires cadavers, corpses, so that the practice of medicine can work on real human flesh from stillborns to achieve an understanding of the human body. It's a practice that has gone on for centuries in the Faculty of Medicine. Thalidomide was designed to create a randomized sample of stillbirths from women gestating in pregnancy. It enabled an understanding of the human body by providing real examples of the fetus at various stages of development in the womb. It relates to a movie, I think, called Rosemary's Baby, starring Mia Farrow, and it was a novel of the same title here called Rosemary's Baby. I was trying to think how it comes about that. Oh, that's right. It was the movie was produced in 1968. The novel was published in, I believe, 1967. Roughly proximal to the administering of the Thalidomide Project by the Faculty of Medicine. And it was about human sacrifices within the nature of occultism and links up with ideas about the adversarial nature of Catholicism and Satanism. However, the Thalidomide Project, as much as it has that air about it, was not really about Satanism. It was not really a story about human sacrifice, as the novel might imply on a tacit observation. However, in the future, you'll probably find that in relation to Rosemary's Baby and the drug thalidomide, people will link up or associate the two in some way. But it's not really what it's about. The Thalidomide Project was actually a randomized, double-blind experimental method for fetal research in the Department of Paediatrics of universities around the world. To know about babies, you have to have real babies to work on in the laboratory. Thalidomide provided manifold examples of cadavers for research purposes. Now, this observation I have made explains why there was a reluctance to offer compensation for victims of thalidomide. Experimental methods had a deliberate projected outcome when it came to thalidomide. So it's not really a claim of negligence when an organisation deliberately stillbirths or deforms human flesh for medical experimentation. It wasn't an accident, so you can't have a claim of negligence, the Faculty of Medicine had a quota to meet in relation to cadavers for paediatric research, put simply. To suggest negligence is to suggest that it was an accidental side effect of the management of a drug. This was not the situation with thalidomide. Let me see now, it was developed knowing that it would create the health issues that subsequently occurred to patients or clients who took the drug either voluntarily or involuntarily. Conversely, negligence, as I've said, involves an accident. But the birth defects and stillbirths was a desired outcome within the Faculty of Medicine. It was an objective of paediatric research into the improvement of baby health, amongst other research topics still underway in departments of universities around the world. So there couldn't be a support in terms of, well, you couldn't really have a supported claim of negligence in those conditions, yeah? And the reason why the issue got locked down in the courts was because the claim of negligence implied that the Faculty of Medicine did not know what it was doing in relation to the organisational management of the dispensing of the drug thalidomide. However, in actual fact, they did know what they were doing within a double-blind experimental method. And they were acting altruistically for everyone's benefit to provide greater understanding of the best way to treat human babies for better health longitudinally for human beings. As one can imagine, if pregnant females had become aware that there was the likelihood of miscarriage, stillbirth and, let's say, birth abnormalities, then they would be less likely to chance a pregnancy if they knew they may have to take thalidomide, yeah? This was why the Thalidomide Drug Project was concealed, as I said previously, within a double-blind experimental research method, where some people knew but a lot of people didn't know. There was only a limited number of people within the Faculty of Medicine who were allowed to know about it. It would have been very difficult to get participants in the thalidomide drug trial in hospitals if they knew that the fetus of the participant, the pregnant female, would not survive, the fetus would not survive after birth or be extremely deformed, yeah? So they couldn't really tell people. If we think about other experiments presently underway, such as the beavirus, coronavirus, COVID-19 virus vaccines, in relation to our prior experiences with the Thalidomide Project of the past, within the Faculty of Medicine, then we can see that it would be extremely difficult to get participants in the COVID vaccine program if a similar outcome were projected or revealed to participants, even though it is a price we will pay for better patient health longitudinally. Now, in terms of thalidomide, it doesn't end the distress of people or the distress people have felt about the drug, the anxiety about a drug designed to relieve anxiety. It's quite ironic, isn't it? It sounds counterintuitive to create anxiety and distress with a drug that is designed to relieve those symptoms. It's rather weird, isn't it? But at least it is a bit more understandable within terms we can all grasp. Nonetheless, it's still very challenging to people born with disabilities, driven by the drug regime of the day. And for me personally, I never received compensation for my exposure to thalidomide as a fetus in my mother's womb. And in a way it doesn't matter to me. I really get enough money on a disability pension, and you know, I have all my fingers and toes, so I'm happy about that. It could have been worse. Some people had a lot more to deal with, or still do, yeah. And many of them have for their lives. They have quite a severe disability to live with. But it doesn't betray the fact that we have to do these things as human beings, desiring a better place for medicine in our lives, yeah. And I thank you for doing it, okay, for the participants and the experimenters for doing it, because I think it does lead to better health outcomes longitudinally.